Hey guys, and welcome back to FSI DFS. I am McKinley 412 for another MLB breakdown. We're going to be looking at the 5-game late slate on Draftkings here. One great thing about this slate is that there's no weather concerns. We've been having a lot of weather issues recently, where we've been chopping off at least one game on the slate because of it. But this one, we are clear. So let's just dive right into the pitching. Obviously, you got the two pitchers right at the top here. You got Urias going up against Colorado and Rich Hill going against Texas. Both of them facing some weaker offenses here. Urias at 10.1K, uh, clearly the top option, the safest option on this slate. I'm going to be locking him in. He faced the same Colorado team in Coors earlier this season and shut him down. 7 innings, only 3 hits, 1 earned run allowed. So don't overthink this one. Just plug them into your cash lineups here um, as your SP1. Hill has a little bit more uncertainty with him. He is going against a weaker Texas team. He's 9K, so he's gotten a 2,000 salary increase since the start of the season already. He's played Miami and he's played New York so far. He's let up 4 earned runs in each of them. He only went 4 innings against Miami. He went 6 innings against New York. So for 9K, he's not really going to be shutting anybody down. This Texas team, though, has been real rough. Apart from their 10-run outburst on opening day, they still have somehow managed to make themselves a bottom 6 team in terms of runs scored per game. So that just kind of shows how much they've been struggling lately. But Rich Hill, his K percentage is down. But other than that, he's still a solid option here. One stat that I always love about Rich Hill, and it just gets better every year that he continues to pitch, is he was drafted in an amateur draft by the Cincinnati Reds in 1999. So think about your life back in 1999, where you were, and compared to where you are now. Rich Hill has been a part of the major leagues. Obviously, he didn't pitch back in 99 in the majors, but still drafted by a major league team out of high school there. So I just love that stat with Rich Hill and just the ageless wonder, it seems. But looking us apart from those two, next up at 7-8 is Corbin here, pitching for Washington. Corbin had a phenomenal 2018, phenomenal 2019, and then just seemed to fall off the rails in 2020. So not really sure how he's going to respond this year to it. He was on the COVID list to start off the season, and then he had one outing, and it was against the Dodgers. And the high-powered Dodgers bats. He let up 6 earned runs in 4 innings. But like I said, it was against the Dodgers. How much can you really look into it? Who knows? So 7-8, it's possible he's going up against Arizona, not a very strong offense. And you kind of notice there's not many strong offenses on this slate apart from your usual powerhouses like the Dodgers. But there is one team that I'm definitely going to be focusing on in bats um, because of pricing constraints with the top pitchers here. But yeah, looking down the list at pitchers, Manea for Oakland, he's not really a K pitcher at all. He's not going to provide you with much upside. But going against Detroit, um, Texas pitchers, no thanks. Going against Tampa Bay, Kelly for Arizona, nope. He's really struggled. He struggled in the spring. He had a bad start to the season. He had a bad spring. So something's going on with him. I don't want him going against those Washington bats, especially the heavy lefties right in the middle of that lineup there. Roark for Toronto, he is just, who knows? 6.86 ERA last year. Spring training, he had an 8.44 ERA. And then he goes out, starts the season off with getting pummeled with 3 home runs in 3 innings. So against Texas. So he's just fallen off the rails here. there's just not really any good pitching options outside of those top two. Like, you can make a case for Corbin and Manea, like I said, but there's not really any value that you're looking towards. Junis going against Toronto. He had some two bullpen stints earlier in the season where he did well. Um, and then he really shut down Cleveland as well. So, I mean, you can make a case for him, GPP only. Uh, but yeah, there's not really any cheap pitching options on this slate that you can kind of take away and feel comfortable with like we've had in the past couple of slates. So yeah, so pitching's pretty straightforward. You're going to be targeting those top two guys, and then Corbin and Manea as well if you need some salary savings. Looking towards the bats, though, I think the chalkiest play, or they should be the chalkiest play, is going to be Oakland. The Oakland hitters are just way too cheap comparatively to all the other top offenses that are going on tonight. They're going against Screwball, who's not a good pitcher. He's the cheapest pitcher on the slate for a reason here. And the most expensive Oakland bat is only 4.3. Chapman at 4.3. You got Kanha at 4.1. Laureano at 3.8. Seems like just lock him in. He has 8 stolen bases in only 9 games here. And like I said, this Oakland team, their bats were pretty silent to start off the year, especially against the Houston. But they've really picked it up. I think they got 7 or more runs in 4 straight games here. So their bats are popping. They're going against arguably the worst pitcher on the slate here, and they're cheap-ish. And if you're going to be plugging in Urias and Hill as your pitchers, you're going to need to find some of the value, some of those value bats there. So Oakland, I'm going to be very heavy on in cash here. The Dodgers, obviously, the Dodgers are a phenomenal offense, but their prices are out of control here. Betts at 5.9, Seager 5.6, Turner 5.5, Muncy 5.3. They deserve it. I mean, they have the talent for them to be priced up that high, but when you're plugging in, like I said, when you're plugging in Urias and you're plugging in Hill, your average salary remaining drops down to 3.8. So if you're plugging in a guy like Betts and Seager at the top here, say you want Betts and Seager, you're already down to 3.2 for your remaining 6 positions. It's just not feasible with the pitching here in cash games. So I'm kind of off the Dodgers bats just because of their pricing. But 2 other teams I'm going to be looking at are KC and Washington. Like I said, KC's going up against Roark, going up against Toronto, and Roark has he's fallen off the face of the earth in his pitching ability. He's getting lit up every single time he gets put out there. Merrifield, he's approaching that bets category like 5.7. It's tough to really jam him in. But really the remainder of the KC bats aren't that expensive. I mean, you got Salvador Perez at 4.9. Okay, he's expensive. But looking down, 4.2, 3.8, 3.5 for Benintendi. I mean, he's not going to be hitting a home run. He's not that kind of hitter. But at 3.5, he's providing that savings for you that you need. And then Washington, they're our 4th team that I'm looking at, and I kind of like them more as like a GPP play here. I don't think they're going to be as popular. But going against Kelly's had a bad start to the season. He had a terrible spring as well. There's something going on there. Not a good pitcher right now. And the Washington lineup has those lefties right in the middle there with Juan Soto, Schwarber, and Bell. So they can do some damage, and right in front of them is Trey Turner. Soto and Turner, they're priced at 6K and 5.8. So if you're doing this Washington stack, I like them as a stack more than the Dodgers in GPP just because of playing the ownership here. But like I said, you could pair Urias with Junis for KC. That gives you 4.1 remaining for your batters. So if you plugged in Turner and you plugged in Soto for Toronto here, you're looking at 3.6. So it's better than the 3.2 that we were looking at earlier. So you're looking at 3.6 for your remaining hitters. And like those Washington bats, Bell is still cheap. They still have him right at 3.6. Harrison's been doing well, 3.9. So look at those Washington bats. If you need an absolute value play on Texas, min price, Garcia. He has not had a great start to the season. He has had a great start to the season. He hasn't had a great start to his career. But in spring, he was hitting close to 400 in spring in 32 at bats. He goes for stolen bases. He has the power. And at min price, definitely be looking at him if you need that salary saving at min price. So just to kind of recap, pitching's pretty straightforward in cash games. You're going to be taking those top guys, Urias and Hill. Or if you don't want Hill with some uncertainty there, you can go, or need some salary savings, you can go Corbin or Manea. Just don't be expecting too much out of them. I like Eunice for a GPP play for some serious salary relief. Those Toronto bats are scary, and that's why he's a GPP only. He's had a solid start to the season, but don't look any further than that. Bats, Oakland, top option of the day. They're cheap. They're going against arguably the worst hitter of the day. Dodgers, way too expensive. You can't stack them at all with that top pitching. And then KC and Washington getting some exposure into those bats as well. As always, thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Comment what you liked, what you didn't like about the video, any changes that you guys want us to make to these videos to better suit what you guys want to focus on. Should we focus more on individual plays? Should we more focus on team stacks? Those sorts of things. So good luck in your contest tonight. And we will be back on Friday with another breakdown for you. Good luck.